How about that introduction? Is there anything cooler than seeing an off-road vehicle flying through a bunch of sand dunes? Always get, hair raises on my arm whenever I see stuff like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Bumper, E3 Off-Road and Overland's official video podcast. I am your host, Josh. I am the Senior VP of Marketing for E3 Association. And today we have Sean from 5 to 9 Adventure. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Sean is located on the West Coast, and he is an avid overlander. And he uses a vehicle that you don't often see in the overlanding industry. He uses a full-size Chevy Silverado. So we are going to spend some time. We're going to talk to him about how he started as an overlander, some of his adventures and some of the must-have gear and equipment that you should have, and just kind of get some insight from him. And, it's always exciting to learn and talk to somebody who doesn't have the usual Jeep or Ford Bronco or Toyota Tacoma or the 4Runner, a lot of the stuff that you generally do see in the overlanding industry. So it's exciting to meet and learn and get a perspective from somebody who doesn't use those types of vehicles and uses something that's a little bit different. So, Sean, again, welcome. And let's begin. Let's talk a little bit. First of all, where exactly are you located at?
Yeah, I'm located. I live in Oxnard, California, which is, if you know anything of the coast, it's Ventura. It's a commonly known name, just south of Santa Barbara and in between LA and Malibu. So we're right on the coast. Can't have it any better. It's beautiful here. So yeah, Southern California.
Awesome.
Oxnard area.
Is there is that a big area for overlanders and off-roaders, or is it kind of light?
On the coast, not so much. It's great for mountain biking and hiking and backpacking type of stuff. But as you venture inland, about an hour or two, you get into the OVH areas up on the Grapevine, which is commonly Interstate 5. It's a lot of off-roading up there that I started to get into around that area. A lot of local trails, but I'm seeing a lot more activity on the trails for
good. We like to hear that. We like to see there's more people getting out there and having fun and being a little bit more adventurous. So that's good to hear. So you're an overlander. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you start? How did you get into the world of overlanding?
I don't know if I started. It's just been a way of life in terms of camping. Since a kid, my parents were campers and we camped a lot, and my brothers and sisters. And I'm an avid mountain biker, and I think this transitioned into I did a lot of mountain biking, off-roading, week-long trips, and packing stuff in with support and stuff in various areas. And it just transitioned into I had a smaller truck at Tacoma. Wasn't four-wheel drive. They would ask me, why do you have a truck in California? It's not four-wheel drive. And I go, good question. So I decided that's when I moved up to a bigger vehicle, and I picked the Silverado. But I think from mountain biking transitioning, now I can use a vehicle. I can go farther and longer and bring more equipment as needed. And we're starting to get into places that I've seen on other channels or just people talk about it, and it's just reinvigorated my adventureness to explore. So
awesome.
And we bring our bikes too occasionally.
Yeah, that's always, we hear a lot about that, overlanders and just campers in general who like to go and, hang out for a weekend somewhere, and then they bring their bikes, and even people who've brought in side-by-sides and four-wheelers and ATVs and stuff that they just haul behind them, and they overland out of their main rig, and then they use, these other measures of travel around the area where they're overlanding. So that's pretty cool. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel and you're new to watching these videos, you'll see up on the screen, we have a couple of links. First and foremost, make sure you follow Sean. He is one of our official ambassadors, and he just came on recently. You can find him all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as 5 to 9 Adventure. And if you guys want to sign up and check out E3 Off-Road Overland, you see the link on here, e3offroad.com/Sean. Make sure you go to that link. It helps him out a little bit. And Here's a special deal. As you can see scrolling on the screen, if you use E3 Team VIP, you will get 25% off any membership. And it doesn't matter what tier it is, doesn't matter if it's monthly, it's annual, and you can add on additional licenses with our other brands. We have multiple divisions in E3: off-road, overland, camping, firearms, and aviation. So you can add on multiple licenses, get 25% off, check it out, and you can see all the incredible things within the member platform. You can direct message Sean. You can hang out with him when he's going to events. You can see a calendar of events where he's going to be at. And if you just want to learn more and get some education and some insight about overlanding and do a meet and greet with Sean at a lot of different events, you can definitely do so by signing up, going into the member platform, and looking at all the things that's there. So, all right. So you have a Silverado. Let's talk a little bit about what you've done to your Silverado to be able to go out and enjoy overlanding.
Oh gosh. Well, what interested me was it's a 22 Chevy Silverado LT Limited Trail Boss. And the limit was because it was between the transition phase for the refresh of the Trail Boss, the Silverado. I got it right before the refresh. So they called everything prior to that a limited. Nothing different to it. But what I've done to it, well, it came with a factory 2-inch lift. It is fully capable. I had automatic rear lockers. That's what kind of got me interested. I don't have front lockers, but I don't usually use those. I know the Jeep crowd loves that, but I'm not a crawler.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps when I need them. And what I've done to it, I've added a lot of stuff to it. I've added a rooftop tent that's sitting on a rack on the bed. I have a tonneau cover, aluminum tonneau cover that rolls in between, which is nice. That covers any gear I put in the back. It seals it up and it's lockable, and it's a hard cover, so you can stand on the thing or sleep on it if you need to. Very nice. What else do I got? I just put on Method 701 wheels with the bead lock technology for airing down, and when I went with the Mickey Thompson's Baja Bosses, kind of the theme, Trail Boss Baja Bosses, those tires are awesome.
Yeah,
very
that seems to be
rugged.
a popular choice for a lot of people, using Method wheels and the Baja tires. So we've seen those on a lot of rigs, and I feel like they're getting even more popular as more and more people get into it.
Yeah. I was out with a group this weekend, this past weekend, and one of the guys had it on his vehicle. I did tires you can research and go forever on different things, and I came up with those because of the ruggedness, and they had a strong, being a heavier truck, I was looking for a thicker sidewall, and that was a big consideration. I wasn't as light as a Jeep or the Tacomas. So, but they've been fantastic so far. Got some Rocky Road fabricators out of Utah. Took a little while to find rock sliders for a full size. It's starting to come. You can find steps, but not really rock sliders. But I found a place that had them, and those have been fantastic. It covers the wheel to wheel on them. So I have that. I just installed a winch. That was important to me as a safety item. And usually what they tell you, it's not for you, it's for others. And I have a story on that one too. This past weekend, we did use a winch in our group.
That's good. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, there are a lot of people who go out off-roading, and even overlanders, they go out and they're not set up for any type of safety recovery. And that's so dangerous, and even if, if you're going out with a group, that's one thing, because you could always help out your fellow off-roader or overlander or whatever if they get stuck somewhere. But as an individual or as a solo adventurer, if you're going out and you don't have any type of recovery gear, that's you're taking a big, big risk.
Absolutely. And we did come across someone that had nothing, and then a young kid had his truck stuck, high-ended it in a wash, and had no clue how to get off of it. And we came upon him, and that was one of our recoveries for the weekend. He was so happy that we showed up.
Saved the day.
No, absolutely. He was lucky it wasn't summer yet too. It was still cool because we were out in Drosser Tree area, the desert, so it gets hot.
Right. Yeah. So you talked a little bit about, you went out with a group, and you were able to do some recovery and help someone out. But have you ever encountered any challenging overland adventures, just either going out with a group or just you as a solo overlander?
Challenging in terms of something going not the way you planned.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this like I mentioned, we had a couple. This weekend we had a recovery, we had a fix, and then we had a tow at
Well,
the end. So we got a little bit of everything, and luckily we had all that equipment that can accommodate those those particular situations. So we had to pull someone off a rock. We had to replace a tire that popped the bead on some rough terrain, and that was on a exposed shelf road. That was interesting, but we had the equipment to do it, which was nice, especially the jack, the off-road jacks. And then we had at the end, one of our buddies' differential gave out.
oh
And so
wow.
we were about 5 miles off road. So we were at the end, which was lucky, and we had to pull them off. So we had to use a tow strap and get him to pavement, where we were able to call a tow truck and get him safely into town and get the car fixed and off and running again. But that's what you plan for.
Yep.
You plan your trips with the best intentions. You have a plan, and that's important. And then you have to be flexible out there, that when things do change or you have to change it up, that you're able to do so.
Yeah. Sometimes you
So we
need
saw a
a
little bit of
plan
that.
B, C, D, E, and F.
Yeah. And
So,
we did that right on the trail, taking different trails, or it got too treacherous, due to it's raining here today. So, the desert's been torn up a little bit with all the flash flooding. And, so you come up upon a trail that's normally nice and smooth, and now it's all rutted, and you can't get through it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to be able to change up and be flexible.
So do you normally go out with groups of people, or do you do a lot of solo adventuring, or is it just sort of like a combination of both?
Yeah, I've done solo. I'm interested in that because that's kind of cool. But I'm mindful of where I would go solo, not too far off of. I still like the company of common-minded people that want to go and explore with me. And it's always good to have at least two vehicles, in case you do get stuck or need the help of another individual. But solo does intrigue me. One of my first videos, the one I just have posted, it was a short one that I was by myself out in Toronto Pinnacles, and it was pretty cool. I like both. I like the company of people out there. We had 6 vehicles total, so it was 6 people. We were all solo within our own vehicle, but 6 together. The campfires are awesome at night.
Yeah.
When you make the camps, that's what it's all about too. Is just hearing.
Yeah, the
Chatting
community aspect of off-roading and overlanding in itself is just so incredible. And, that's a lot of our members and all of our brands, not just off-road, but a lot of our members, they say that is one of the most important aspects of going out there and adventuring, is that community aspect of being around like-minded individuals, people who want to learn from each other and share stories and be around that campfire and just, have a really, really fun time creating those memories that last a lifetime.
100%. I learned something new every time I go about different top radios. We had a gentleman that is a ham radio operator, and he told us everything we wanted to know about radios and how to use them and how important it is. And so, yes, those stories is what is so much fun out there. And
Yeah. So if someone is looking to get into overlanding, that they've seen videos, they've seen people go out together, and they've seen some of the parks that are out there, and even some of the expos and events, and they want to get into overlanding, but they have no idea where to begin. They don't know what type of vehicle, they don't know what type of gear, what type of equipment. What is your advice for someone who is just either hasn't bought their stuff yet and they're looking to get into it, or they have bought stuff and they're brand new?
Yeah, this platform right here, E3, it helped me. Is one of them. Looking up content. YouTube is a wonderful platform for all various genres and niches. And coming across platforms like this, when you're new to it, I found the educational aspect, the unknown, and those are some of the things that prevent people from going. They just don't feel comfortable, or they never changed the tire off road, or had to do something. But I think first and foremost is educating yourself, looking out there what you want to do. And then, you don't need a lot of equipment. If you have a truck or a Jeep or, a car that is capable of getting, even all-wheel drive, there's certain roads you can go onto, national parks and stuff you can still get off when there's no one out there, and just doing it. making a small plan and start small. Don't look for the grand adventures, and just start small. Use what you have. You probably have if you're a camper already, you probably have a tent, you have sleeping bags, you have the coolers, you have all that stuff. You just have to realize that's overlanding. That's getting out and using it. But the education is key. And I think a key point is, if you're getting in and you want to go a little deeper, is make sure you have the communication devices. Invest in those, like a Garmin there's tons of devices out there that you can communicate if you need to, off grid, where it's linked to a satellite or what have you. And Garmin's a good device. But it's just getting out there, and I started locally, like I said, we mountain bike every weekend. And then I just say, hey, and I saw vehicles driving up here. I go, you can bring a truck up here or a car? And I go, all right. And so it just naturally progressed into that. But I think, it's just taking the first step, and education is good. That's, a little bit of education goes along. I learned so much just watching, especially on recovery stuff. Hopefully you never have to use it. At least you have a good foundation to grow from when you're out there.
You brought up a really good point. As far as like starting small, I think there's a lot of people out there where they want to get into overlanding and they want to, go big right out of the gate. And that is probably the quickest way to get yourself stuck somewhere. If you're not experienced, or you're not going out with a group of people that are experienced or certified or whatever. So the first and foremost is, like you said, obviously you definitely want to start small and gradually build up as you learn new skills and things like that in the overlanding industry. And then the second piece being education. So, E3 off-road, all of E3, all the different member platforms, we've got about 200 courses and lessons to really teach you how to be a safer, better, a more knowledged off-roader and overlander. And all of our courses and our education and stuff is, professional, it's certified, it's legit. So if you are going out there and you are with a group of people, or you are trying to learn from somebody, you always want to make sure that you are learning from an experienced or a certified person, because there's so much information out there, and it's tough to weed through it to see which is what's correct, what is safe, what's going to really help me become a better and more empowered overlander or off-roader. So making sure that you are learning from a reputable source, whether it's E3 or someone else, you always want to make sure that you do that so that you are safe and you can continue forward and not be in harm's way, really.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. There's so many different ideas and ways to do things, but having the right information, especially for the type of vehicle that you're working with, and the people that are experts in that and have done it, is a source of knowledge. I watched one of the classes prior to leaving to my trip last week from E3, and it was on straight pull recovery from a winch, and I had to use it. I told the pulling vehicle, we got to be in neutral for the situation. And he goes, what do you mean neutral? And I talked about the brake, he goes, all right, good point. And it worked out fine. So it's that little pieces, like you said, of golden nuggets, as I call them, that can get you out of a situation where if you didn't know it or had wrong information, it could be disastrous.
Yeah, for sure.